record, and then I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to turn that on. And then that's not what I want either. Hang on. I love technology. I think I'd have my life together by now.
I'm going to close the door, hon.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. I just wanted to give a shout out because we're 1 week away from the end of the month, and it is crazy to see how many Success Club points are on the board, right? So Success Club points aren't the only thing that determine your success, but we haven't had this many names, right? So Success Club is associated with challenge packs and how many people you've helped, right? So every name on this list, so Brianna, Angie, Kia, Victoria, Jessica, Savannah, Haley, and Amber have all helped someone get started this month, which is super awesome. And some of these names, it's their first time showing up on this list. So it's super awesome. And it's just super exciting to watch this grow. And so with that, it's still a week out from the end of the month, right? So if you're like, well, I want to be here, but I'm only here, you've still got a week, still hit it hard, and a lot can happen, right? Like Angie, if you watched her live video in the Facebook group, like she literally got 3 challenge packs out in 1 day, right? So just because it's a week out, you can't say like, oh, well, I'm not hitting Success Club this month, because that can completely change in a day. So don't count yourself out yet. Okay, so shout out to those people, and shout out to everyone else too that's hustling and getting their tracker done, okay? Next is announcements. So just a few things I wanted to talk about is remember that February 1st is when the Beachbody On Demand prices are increasing. So a 3-month membership will turn into $60 a month. So I know at first I was like, well, that's kind of crappy. It's going up $20. But that's still, if you break it out, that's only $20 a month, which is still way cheaper than most people, right? Like Shane spends $20 when he goes to McDonald's once. So you think like still a good deal. 6 months will be essentially $80 and 12 months will be $99. I'm guessing where this is going is, right, like most people are either going to pick 12 months or they're going to be like, well, I might as well just buy a challenge pack. So there's still the 2-week free trial, right? So if people are still on the fence, think about a 2-week free trial. Next, Control Freak Off the Wall. So maybe you heard Autumn's announcement, but they are doing Control Freak without the control track and that equipment, right? And so that is coming out on February 8th, and it'll have a separate challenge pack. So it'll be a challenge pack like the $160 challenge pack. I think this is going to be a hit with Team Cup month, because now, like, I've had people who are like, I want to do Control Freak, but like, I don't know where to put it in my house. And so this is a super awesome option for them. A thing to note though, like how 9-week Control Freak right now is they call it real time, right? So like every single day is a separate recording and every single day is a separate workout. This will be 5 workouts that you will do like 3 times for each phase, right? So phase 1, you will do the same 5 workouts for 3 weeks. Then phase 2, you will do the same 5 workouts for 3 weeks. And then I think I said that wrong, whatever. Phase 1, 2, and 3 are different, but essentially it'll be 15 workouts. And you'll do the same. If you follow Autumn on Instagram, it's really funny. I was looking at her stories yesterday and literally it was her filming and she's like gnawing on this giant greasy breakfast sandwich. And I just laughed so hard because they're like, Autumn, are you ready to film Off the Wall? And she just literally had a face full of food. I'm like, I love her. And then Team Cup starts on February 1st, which is super exciting. Make sure to get your team registered. I think all but one of our teams is registered, and we have 4 teams, which is exciting because last August, we had 3 teams. So that is super exciting. And I hope you guys lean into it. So blow up your group messages, use this to really propel your business because it has the power to do a lot and change a lot. So any questions on announcements or anything like that? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to turn it over to Jess. She's going to talk a little more about connecting, and then I'll round us out. So go ahead.
Do you want me to share our challenge?
Save it for the end.
I mean, yeah, but you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a little sneak peek for y'all. Okay, gotta figure out how to share my screen. There's too many buttons to click. Okay. Gotta hide the humans. Okay. Very normally, right? Because we always have issues with that, it seems like. Someone answer. I can only see one person.
You're good. I can see your screen.
Okay, and you can hear me normally, right? Okay. Okay, so I'm apparently feeling all the feels of February already and Valentine's Day, and I don't even like Valentine's Day, but it was like on all over on Canva, and I was just like, kind of fitting because connecting is like the heart of what we do, right? And I didn't get that for a long time, and it definitely caused a lot of stress in my life because I don't know. That's the fun part of this business is getting to know people. Brianna and I have talked about this a little bit lately. So I thought it was really fitting to talk about it tonight. So what is connecting and why is it important in our business? I like to think of connecting as just like being a human, striking out conversations, commenting on posts and sending out compliments. I just think of like around Christmas time. So my niche is probably different than a lot of people on our team, but I'm really focusing on moms, especially like moms of littles. So sending out compliments to people about their kids just like hits them right in the heart. Like around Christmas time, it was always like, oh my gosh, I love you, like your kids' dresses, or they look so excited or whatever. Those kinds of things. And then commenting on photos, I hear a lot about get in their inbox, right? So like with stories, if you respond to their stories, you get in their inbox. And I have some success with that, but commenting on people's photos and just saying, a genuine compliment and then asking them something, they get back to you. And I've had a lot of people that didn't follow me then end up following me and keeping that conversation going. So those are just kind of ways that I guess I would think of striking up conversations and connecting with people on social media and in person. So then why is connecting important? I already kind of said that, but we are in a people business. Like we are here to help people better their lives, right? And like I said, I learned the hard way a little bit about how important connecting is because I had a lot of people, we'd get almost to the point where they were gonna like give me their email address and we were gonna get the share cart going and all that. And they would basically just like disappear, right? And I couldn't figure out why that was happening. But when I started to build a relationship with people and then we started to talk about like what they needed, the packages and all that stuff, then when they didn't respond, I kind of knew them and I could be like, hey, if that price scared you, like you just got to tell me. And they were much more likely to respond and actually come back to you and talk to you. Hi, Liz. Come back and talk to you if you already have that connection there. So it's about building trust and making the process fun. I don't know if you guys have listened to Empower Her podcast by Keisha, but she is obsessed with how can we make the process more fun because like, I think that if your end goal is all you can think about, like you're not gonna just magically be happy when you get there. So like hitting Success Club, I'm just not magically gonna be happy when I hit that in January. I'm gonna be happy because I helped these people that I know need it get better and get hooked up with our accountability groups. So ways to connect with people. I think it's kind of obvious, but I wanted to throw this in here because obviously we all use social media to build our businesses. But then something that I've had kind of an aha moment about, and it may be stupid, but it's come to me recently, like day-to-day life. I live in a small town and I think people are starting to like, know who I am. I mean, people have always known who I am because of like my husband's family, just as kind of known in town for being good people. But people are now starting to realize that I'm also doing this Beachbody coaching gig, right? And in day-to-day life, like when I'm in the grocery store, people do recognize me to an extent now, actually. And I have to remember that like I can build connections wherever I'm going. Like going to the library with Liz. There's other moms there some of the time. And just things like that. And then I was listening to Eric Worre's GoPro book the other day, and he talked about like just networking and at events, and you have to get out and live your life. And that's something that Brianna's talked about too, with like telling your story. You've got to put down your phone and live life to have a story to tell, right? It's kind of the same thing with events. Like, you know, we can get so busy and want to stay home every single night. Like there's nights where I haven't wanted to go to this Moms Connect group that my church does, because it means I miss team call, or it means I miss time to work my business after Liz goes to sleep. But what I also have to think about is the fact that maybe there's someone there that needs the solution that we have. So connecting with people at things you go to, and then just volunteering and getting out. Those people are connections too, and could lead to, they could lead to your star coach or something like that down the road. You never know. So just always be thinking about how you could be connecting with people. And like I said, that is something that's coming to me recently and hard for me because I'm an awkward person. I like to just smile, nod my head, and walk on by in the grocery store or wherever, but I need to be talking to people more. Okay, and then the last piece I have is ways to keep track of connections. Because if you Instagram story or Instagram Messenger, if you haven't figured out, there comes a point where you cannot scroll back any further. I've tried to find some messages, and if I knew the person's name, I could go back, but I forget them. So I think ways to keep track of connections is really good to talk about. So I gotta move so I can see. Oh yeah, okay. Instagram bookmarks and collections. So you know how you can clip a little ribbon or flag in the bottom right-hand corner of a post? I use that to save different groups of people that I've connected with. So I have one for mamas, and then I have one just for like egg people, like SDSU, if they don't really fit in any other category. So I'll bookmark them and then save them to a collection. And then periodically, as a part of my tracker, I go back into those and check in on if there's any posts I can comment on and connect with them further, or just send them a message. And then same thing with Facebook. You can save posts and put them into collections there too. But you just got to make sure you go back and are using those to connect with people again. You could use a spreadsheet. I have done this a little bit, and I did it, and I was trying to like keep track of every single like connecting message I sent. But if you would do it such as like, if you had a true connection with someone, like you've been talking to them for the past 24 hours about something, more in depth than just how's the weather, I would count that as like a true, connected with them, and then put it in the spreadsheet. And then there are other softwares. One example I know I've been trying to use a little bit is Teamzy, but there are other ones too that you could probably look into that I'm sure they have free trials. Teamzy does. I am paying for the paid version right now. I'm going to see how it goes for a couple months, and I don't know, decide if I want to keep it. So that's kind of all I have. And then we have a fun connecting challenge because Team Cup is coming up. We want to challenge everyone between today, January 24th, and February 1st, to connect with 200 people. So obviously that's going to take tracking who you do. And I think once you get in the habit of it for 200 people, like you will do it from now on. And I really believe that like this could move your business forward, especially with Team Cup. So the idea is connect now, and then hopefully you can share the opportunities with them that we have, and they could be people that you help in February. Anything to add, Brianna?
Yes, I do. With this too, I've tracked them. Like I have mine on the bottom of my tracker, because if you are not tracking them, How are you going to know when you hit 200 people, right? And I know that seems crazy, guys, but I did like 25 in probably less than half an hour because it was simple messages or things like that, right? Like, hey, and I'll talk about example conversations here in a minute. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But with this connecting challenge, I sent a message to my Team Cup team in our group, and it was about this video in Beachbody Champions. I can post it in the team page if you want. But she talked about like, and it was maybe even the national wake up call it was the national wake up call last week. She talked about whatever you do today might not impact you today, right? Like you may not get the people who sign up today. You may not even get the people who sign up this week, but the connections and the work you do today is going to impact your business 6 months from now. So whatever you do or do not do today is going to impact your business down the line, right? So the point of this connection challenge, like Jess said, is people want to know us and feel like friends. Like, yes, I have people who sign up and we don't really know each other at all, but it's a lot easier to get someone and find the solution when we feel like we know each other. And so if we, like Jess said, do the back work now, we're going to have that much easier of a time in February. I thought that was really, really good. I even wrote down stuff. I never even thought of the save to collections thing, right? So I love when we share with other people because never even thought of that. And I'm like, that's a super easy way to pin people on who I need to go back to. I'm trying to think. Oh, and the everyday life thing, right? So Jess talked about like the everyday life and doing, being present with who you are. Our friend Jaden right now, she is pregnant, and you might be like Jess said, like, I am an awkward human being. And I was talking to her on the phone the other night, and she's like, I used to really like social events when I was drinking, right? Like I could loosen up, I'd talk to people, because she's also very introverted. And she's like, I'm pregnant. So now we go to events and like, I can't drink. And so she's like, you have no idea now. She's like, I feel like a social butterfly because I can actually strike up conversations with people. She's like, it was super awkward and it was hard work at first. She's like, but I had to learn like how to have a conversation with another adult in person. Like, so you might be like, well, this is awkward or this is weird. How do I, go in someone's inbox and talk to them or comment on their photos without being weird? And it's like, you take action until it's not weird anymore. And you take action until you find your groove, and you're going to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what sounds weird, what sounds normal. And then everything's fine. And so I just have a few things I wanted to add. Okay, perfect. So oh gosh, I got to make sure I got it ready. I need to repost it in the Google Docs. A lot of you probably, when you signed up as a coach, got an email with the Google Drive link in it. And I know we've talked about it before, but I want to show you some of the things in the Google Drive. And you could even add this to your like home page so you can see it all the time. Sorry, my computer is being ungodly slow. But in that Google Drive, any day now, sorry, my computer is just not wanting to cooperate. In that Google Drive is essentially a lot of the things you need to be successful. And maybe you are stuck wondering, like, where do I even go? Like, how do I format a conversation? What questions do I ask? This Google Drive has a lot of stuff in it, if it ever loads. Of course, page unresponsive. Hang on here. So does anyone have any questions for Jess while I get this loading? Or anything to add on to it?
So is this connecting challenge, is it for like new like people you follow, or can you do connecting with people that you have already followed that you just haven't really connected with?
Anyone, right? So like a big thing I've been connecting, I didn't realize Jess wasn't here anymore. So if you had questions for her, that'd be weird. Like me, I've been going through with a lot of my followers and asking them like what their 2021 goals are. So that's not even an invite, not even any of that, right? It's just trying to figure out like what is important to this human being in 2021. So then I can turn around and in February, I can say like, hey, like we talked about XYZ. I have this opportunity for you if that's what you would like to do. now it's working. And so, okay, let me share my screen. So this Google Doc, I don't know if it'll, hopefully you'll have to tell me if it doesn't, if my screen doesn't change or like what you're seeing. So there's all these tabs in here, right? There's personal development. So if you need some books to look at, or like you want to know what personal development to be doing, because we should all be doing personal development, right? Taking care of ourselves is number one. There's nutrition graphics, new coach materials, new challenger materials. So if you want to send them an email or show them things, invites. So in this invites folder, did it change? Can you see the stuff that's on my screen, or is it still just stuck in the folders?
We can see it.
Okay, I know sometimes like it doesn't move the screen, it stays frozen where it is. So like in here, I have example invites, right? So maybe invite is what's holding you up. In here, I have different examples of some invites you can send. Obviously, make it sound like you, because if you don't, like if you would never say it's lit, then you probably shouldn't say lit. But you all know, like I say lit all the time, and I write in caps and I do all that, right? Like, do what sounds like you, but you can make these sound like you. If you're not doing 9-week control freak, don't invite to a 9-week control freak group. But like Ashley was doing MBF. So she could just say, I have an MBF accountability group starting and wanted to message you. Okay. Some other things, I have an example conversation in here. So I'm pulling up this example conversation to show you how like it might work, right? So maybe you invite them, they say, sure, I want more details, and then insert the details of your challenge group, right? This might be specific, or I think Ashley's doing a clean week, right? And so this would say the clean week is all about this. This is what you get. This is what we're doing. What would be the thing you want to focus on? Then someone says, oh, how much does the program cost? Okay, like I can send you some graphics, and then you send the graphic. Here's an explanation, because I try to break down that thing so they know. Because my pet peeve is when I want to purchase something from someone and all they do is send me a picture. And I'm like, that's not what I want. Like, I want to know, what do I get? You know, what's the value of it? And diving deeper. So I have this sample explanation here, right? If you don't, again, you need to pre-read all of these and make it to fit. Guys, I have these, one in the Google Docs, but I have them in notes on my phone, because every time someone asks me, yeah, I'd love more details. When I was first a baby coach, I would sit and I would type that out every single time. You know how much time I wasted typing the same message over and over and over again? So that's why I created an outline and put it in my phone. And so here I talk about, you know, my superfood shake, because they recognize that. Energize is my pink drink you see every morning on my stories, because if they're watching my stories, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And then down here, right, like them, I think I'd be interested in this, okay? They talk about that. I even talk about, okay, after I send them a share a cart, these are things I talk to them about and what I tell them, okay? So that example conversation is totally for you guys to look at, for you to use. There's other invites in here, like these are, I almost called Jess Shane. Jess's examples of like how she talks to people about the coaching opportunity when she signs them up, right? Other things in the Google Drive are graphics. So I make sweaty selfie graphics each month. I've already got some for February. I have November, January. I have like any graphics pretty much lately that I have on my phone, I try to put in here. So like I had someone ask me about the details of Energize. So I send them this and I send a little blurb. I try to never just send someone an image. I try to explain what's on the image, because again, I hate when people just post graphics and expect you to sign up based on that. So there are 9-week control freak packages, stories, all of that kind of stuff. February. So if you run a challenge group and you need some sweaty selfies, I was working on these tonight. I've already got sweaty selfies for February starting to go in there. So I'm trying to make things easier for you guys, right? Free groups, that's where I'll be posting stuff for free groups, coach sneak peek. And then Ashley sent us the clean week thing. So Ashley, if you don't want that in there, let me know, but I just added it in here because I think it's something very duplicatable, right? As we talk about scaling this business, you want everything to be able to be duplicated, right? Clean week, what Ashley did is Ashley will, if she decides to do this next month or the following month, it'll be so easy for her to go exactly into that Google Drive and post the exact same stuff. So you do the work once, right? We're trying to make it so you don't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and spending your time doing that. Okay.
And if you guys really want to host like a challenge group or anything, Clean Week's a really easy one because it's like $30 for the people. And if you go on to like the coach office and then the tools, it literally, like, I took most of the posts and everything from that, and it gives you everything you need. And then you can just add some of your own stuff in to spice it up.
Exactly. And so definitely use this if you are someone who wants to do the networking challenge, like in here. I made this, I think based off, I don't even know what it's based off of. But here is something that you could print off. Like I will probably do this for this last week of January to make sure I'm investing time in networking and connecting, but post on your feed, follow 25, comment on 10, right? A lot of this is stuff we are already doing, but it's good reminders, right? Message new followers, tag someone on your stories. I love, right? You see me tag Bubbler all the time. Anytime there's a brand I can tag or there's another human being I can tag them, because then hopefully they'll share your story to theirs. And that just gives you more exposure, right? Create an Instagram interaction. So I love posting polls, question quiz things. Any of those are super good because it gets people interacting on your stories. And the longer people spend on your content, the more Instagram will show that content and you get to know them better, right? Like today, mine was about leftovers. So I got to see who likes leftovers and who doesn't, right? Share someone's post. That's always a good idea because that gets you out there too. And then share about meals, products, stuff. So that tracker is in there too. And I know I'm going to focus a lot this last week on networking so that I can build up for next month. Okay. Okay, then that's kind of the Google Drive. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Are there any questions you guys have about anything at all, connecting or stuff in the Google Drive or conversations, questions, how to connect with people, any of that? Okay, my tip to you is just find something. Like what I do is I go on their feed and I find something that we have in common, right? Like, oh, hey, I see you go to SDSU. I graduated from SDSU. Like, what's your major? No one finds that weird. I was talking to Jess because Jess is like, has anyone ever been creeped out by the amount of questions you ask? And I've had one human being that's like, why are you asking me so many questions? And I said, this is literally what I said. I said, because making friends as adults is really weird. And I'm just being social on social media. And she's like, okay, sounds good. I was just wondering, like, she probably thought I was some creepy person trying to steal her information or something, but like, be social on social. And it's not, I always go by the statement of like, it's only weird if you make it weird, but talking to them about, right? I message a lot of people about their cute dogs, their children, they're a lot of ag teachers, right? So I talk to them about how their semester is going, a lot of stuff, right? So it's, I think of some of you guys on here have really specific jobs or majors. Like I think of Haley, who's in nursing. Like I feel like a lot of nurses have it in their bio that they're like nursing, or like I have learned ways to connect with them better, right? Like anytime someone's like, I'm a nurse. So I ask them like, what department are you in? Or like, what division do you work in? I don't even know how you'd like technically say it, right? But then they talk to me about, oh, I work in the ICU. And I'm like, awesome. Like, why did you pick the ICU? And then you learn a lot about a person of why they picked that career. So I always ask people why they picked their career, where they live, and talk to them about it. Cause then it just creates a natural conversation that I don't really think is creepy. And even if it doesn't turn around to, well, I love health and fitness, and that same day they sign up with a challenge pack, it's easy to check back in and be like, hey, how's this going? Or, I hope you had fun at your kid's birthday party. So anything else? Any questions, comments, concerns? No? Okay. Well, I hope I'm going to stop recording.